Alright, the next flow blueprint that I'm going to discuss here is a Facebook Messenger chatbot blueprint for a property developer. In the past many years, we have built quite a number of Messenger chatbot for property developers. Some of them probably you have communicated with them before. What we did was we actually built from scratch. So it actually required some, what do we call the technical knowledge, because I need my developer to come in and build the whole thing for them. And whenever it comes to adding in new keywords and shuffling or changing the structure and everything, it requires all the programming work that is required. So when ManyChat came into picture, it actually solved so much of our problems, because for a chatbot to build from scratch, right, we need to actually first to get the chatbot, the developer approval, and then to structure everything. It takes time, and then through and flow in terms of communicating about the flow and all that. So I personally prefer building a bot using ManyChat because it actually solves so much problem, and you can actually launch in a very fast way. So based on our past many years of experience building Messenger chatbot for property developer, a few things we look into. So first, as a developer, most of the time, the main purpose of the Messenger chatbot is to route people to look at the destination, which is to look at your property, your products, and all that. And then eventually, at the end of it is we want to get people to talk to us. This is really a lead generation kind of purpose over here. And on top of that, for property developers, based on our past many years of experience building multiple chatbots for developer, other areas that we'll be looking at is, there could be general inquiries such as HR related inquiries, general sales and related inquiries, and even some complaints and communication related things. So the way we build this bot is very straightforward, and let's take a look at it and see how we can optimize the whole bot. So basically, as usual, we always have a starting step, and the starting steps is always a very simple starting steps. I believe if you watch some of our other videos that we talk about the flow and everything, I will always prefer to start simple, because you don't want to overwhelm your audience with too much information at the get-go. So immediately when we come in, we will greet people, and we always start with naming, as in like calling, as in addressing to the name. Usually this is actually can be called out using this bracket column that you can actually just put in the full name, last name, page name, blah blah blah. The easiest one is to use the first name. And then I always recommend to use emoji because it gives so much more personalized feeling, and it makes the whole thing looks a little bit more lighter and more friendly. And then we always try to use this so-called delay. It's very simple. You just come over here. This is the delay that we're looking at. Now, adding delay also adds personalization, because when you're having a delay in between conversation, if they are looking at the screen, they will be seeing the 3 dots moving as if the counterpart is really typing something. So we also prefer to break the messages into a shorter format where, for these two, I can chunk it to become one message. However, I don't do that because I want to make it look more personalized, because when it comes to our habit of reading messages in the messenger level, the WhatsApp level and all that, we always prefer shorter messages. So I want to inherit that kind of preference, and to fit more towards the user behavior that we have right now. So the other thing that we always do is we try to give it a name. So this is Erica, you see. So when there is a name, and then you pair with some emojis and all that, it makes the whole thing look so much more friendlier and real. Instead of just the hardcore AI machine feeling that is over that, and actually it actually makes people feel more comfortable communicating with you. So immediately we use a quick reply here. We have buy a property, attend an event, look for job, and talk to Jesse. Now the Jesse could be anything. So I just want to add a little bit of gamification here, so that make people feel that, hey, there is another Jesse. So what is Jesse? So yeah, it's a fun thing to do. So let's start with looking at the buy a property. Eventually, when they click buy a property, the first thing that we would do is we will add a tag. Now remember, when you're using free plan, you can have only up to 4 tags. That's why over here, I'm just using the test tag 1212, just alternating it, just to give you an idea. Now, the reason why we use tags is because we want to categorize the audiences using this. Okay, then by adding tag, we know that this is actually into property, and we have the message. So this is where we start categorizing them further by highlighting the locations that we have the property. So thank you for choosing us, name, and now let's find you something, which state you're in right now. So let's say if they go into the Bukit Mertajam, then we will go in to the whole flow that is built for Bukit Mertajam. So over here, you can make it even more personalized by sending messages such as, hey, oh, you're from Penang, I miss Laksa. Just for the record, yeah. For other locations, they are all the same. I just built one for BM and copy and paste everything for other locations such as we have Kulim, Taiping. Remember, you don't need to build everything from scratch. You can always, let's say for example, if I want to highlight this thing and this thing, for example, you just need to select this and that. So when for these two things, hang on, for these two things, you can just use this button, which is to copy, then to duplicate, then you'll be duplicating this thing. It's so much easier. This is so intuitive. Okay, so let's come back to this. Yeah, now Penang. Hey, you Penang. I have one project in BM, the Sphere. You know, it's a mixed development, and give a bit of information. Are you looking for residential and commercial? So this is another further categorization. You see, because when it comes to property, the buying behavior is quite distinctively different from one to another. People who are looking for residential, they are probably less on investment, more for own stay and all. Especially if you're selling something at a medium range kind of thing like condo and all that. Most of them are that. And for commercial, most of the time these are the business people, and the buying preferences and everything could be quite different. That's why we want to actually put a tag here so that we are able to do different kind of follow-up when we need to moving forward. Okay, then let's say when it comes to let's say this is the residential, then we will start be showing them, hey, meet your potential dream home. And then we'll be showing them the cards like this. So this is when you do multiple, card selection. You can add up to 10 cards, okay? And over here, we let people just view brochure or WhatsApp. So these are actually external links where we bring them out to somewhere else, okay? And then I'll always recommend that you end it with a so-called call to action to get them to leave you the contact, because to be very frank, nobody will really do so much more by just browsing and then they take the initiative to come back and reach you again. You always need to ask for their phone number, because this is the only way that you can follow up and communicate with them further. Because frankly speaking, Messenger works to a certain extent, but nothing beats the phone number, because you get to call and directly talk to them. So for the rest of the locations, we did the same. So basically, you have Kulim, then there is a whole flow for Kulim, and the Taiping, there is a whole flow for Taiping. So remember, when you just copy and paste the whole thing, which is fine, you need to make sure that you're changing the name as well. Here we say Kulim, here we say Taiping. So this is how you build the whole chunk for the property buying kind of flow over here. Now we want to quickly go over to look at other things, such as over here we have event. Now for property developers, sometimes you may have more, some road shows or events. For all the events, right, I would strongly recommend that you create an event on your Facebook page. So this is the reason why we create another so-called quick reply to bring people to the event. Here we bring people to the Facebook page. Okay, so just go over and find all the events, and you see always I will end it with, can I have your number? I'll get Jesse to be in touch. So this is where the Jesse come in. Jesse is also another fake data, or it could be a person, really Jesse, and you can get Jesse to call the person. So at least people will know who to expect, and you put a name behind it. So when Jesse really call, I think the person will be a little bit more loosen up in terms of talking to Jesse, because he or she has already met Jesse on the messenger level, right? So that's the event thing. Then the next one here, we have looking for a job. Now, looking for a job is also another tag that we see quite frequently used, because for a developer, we always have this kind of thing. And after that, for job, we always route them to a job portal, as in like a website page, website or a landing page, where usually the company will list all the jobs available, openings over there, and people can just browse. And we'll tell them that share your contact number, I'll get Jesse to be in touch. Or alternatively, you can even tell them that, hey, drop us a message or email us. You can add a button for people to click and start directly emailing you. Always remember to actually put in the call to action that you want them to do. Yeah, and then the last one is to talk to Jesse. Now, talk to Jesse really means nothing. Basically, this is just a more fun way to say that you want to talk to somebody. So we just tell them that, hey, okay, you're looking for Jesse, and oh, I forgot to change this thing. This obviously I copied from there. So Jesse, and just share. I'll get Jesse to be in touch. So this is how you build a flow for a property developer. Now, the whole idea of this thing is that as you can see here, there are two main purposes here. First is to actually provide certain level of information using all the cards over here, available over here. And at the same time, the whole idea here is to really get the contact number. It's more for lead generation purpose. So for property developer, this is what I believe is already sufficient. But on top of that, there could be other things that you can build on it as well, such as maybe if you're also involved in so-called property management, you can also put a route. Remember, when you're building a chatbot, you want to guide people to the direction, and all these can be grown over time. You don't need to build a perfect flow at the get-go. In my opinion, there is no perfect flow at the get-go. You want to have something that is sufficient for you to start and you build on it, because you see, it's so easy to add on new quick reply and everything. So no worry, it doesn't involve much cost right now. However, I think it takes more time. It should actually pay more attention into optimizing the experience to see how we can actually try to get further, because moving forward is more about analyzing the data and see how we can improvise the bot to do their job better, especially in terms of adding keywords, adding rules, for example, so that you'll be able to route the right message to the right people at the right time. All this falls back to how you want to plan the whole experience that you want to create. Remember, when you want to build a bot, it always emphasizes on doing two main jobs for you. First, you want to have saving your time, as in like your customer service time or your own time, because frankly speaking, you can never be always there to reply promptly, and always everybody seek for prompt reply, else the so-called attention will be actually faded. So bot is the only solution that you can do your level best to reply as prompt as possible. And the other thing that we want to do here is that by replying promptly, we can significantly increase the livelihood of the people buying or becoming our lead. So that's the whole idea of building a bot. Okay, it is not to replace human, but it's actually a very effective way to help you increase your efficiency at work. So this is the bot that we built, and this is the flow that we built for a property developer. Now, if you are in property development, I encourage that you look back into your organizational needs and start deploying something. Okay, if you're watching this outside, we do have a class. Just look at the comment below. We do have a class where we teach you how to build a whole flow from scratch. And we also have multiple different so-called blueprints available inside. The whole idea is I want you to be able to do this on your own for free. Okay, so if you're interested, you can head over to the link and sign up to the course. Or alternatively, if you need our help to build this flow and manage this flow and optimize this flow for you, we're also offering as a service. Just get in touch, and I'll be working with you to see how we can actually do this best for your organization. So this is the flow for property developer. And now let's get back to work and build on your flow. So if you have any questions building your flow, if you're in our Facebook group, please post all your questions into the Facebook group, where we will, my team and I will do our very best to respond promptly. It's not a bot, it's really us, okay, to help you resolve all the challenges and all the questions you have to help you optimize your flow and your ManyChat chatbot. So good luck. Let's get back to work.